No flying in Draenor. What does this mean for the game? Well, if you're on a PvP server and you're horribly outnumbered, then it kind of sucks to be you. No, seriously, they're saying that there's no flying at the beginning in Warlords of Draenor, and I can understand where this is coming from. They want people to experience the world. And the only counter argument that others can come up with is, oh, we see it from the flying point. We get a freeing feeling from being able to fly. What? What? Well, we can experience it from the top. You want to do the top of a forest is trees. That's the top of the forest. We can experience it from a viewpoint that we can't normally. Set the zoom distance to max. Okay. Scroll above your character. And then zoom all the way out. Congratulations, you see the world as you would if you were flying. I don't care. One way or the other. Because, yeah, flying is convenient. But people have grown so fucking accustomed to this that it's pathetic. If you started in Cataclysm, you're the worst for this. Because back in PBC, you had to reach level 70 before you could fly. Yeah, you had to reach max level before you could fly at all. And then you could only fly in Outlands. Okay? You could only fly in Outlands at that point. Then, Wrath of the Lich King. You once again had to hit max level before you could cold weather fly. Okay? And there was a book for you to be able to use it on your alts too. Kind of what they're doing for next expansion, the Wisdom of the Four Winds. So there's that. You could still only fly in Outlands and Northrend. You could not fly in Eastern Kingdoms or Kalimdor yet. Once you got to Cataclysm, that's where they fucked up. Because they made, oh, you hit level 60, you get your flying mount, you can now fly in everywhere pretty much. You still can't fly in Northrend until level 68, which still isn't any kind of cap. Then you can fly around there. That was retarded. Honestly, I'm one of those guys. I flew everywhere, especially when it came to farming materials. But thinking back now, I skipped a lot of content. I did. Because I was also one of those guys that leveled through the dungeon system. I think I did quests for the entirety of 24 to 42. I just did dungeons, and I really hate that. That includes running through dungeons with my friends, though. Three manning the stockades with a Fury Warrior as a tank. My pet had Growl on the entire time. It didn't affect it. My favorite line from that warrior tank was like, "Hey, are you using Thunderclap? No, it takes too much rage." That should have been my first point. That should have been my first clue. It takes too much rage. You're a prot warrior. You should be able to use it without rage. So there's that. And, not flying in the new content at all, I'm okay with, because they're saying they want to keep the questing interesting at max level and not just do the dailies like everyone did in Mist Pandaria. It was all dailies. Dailies were mandatory, though they didn't want them to be. They even said, dailies will not be mandatory. Game comes out with mandatory dailies. What would you change about Mist Pandaria? I would change how mandatory dailies feel. You said yourself before the game was going to be released they wouldn't feel mandatory. Congratulations. You fucked yourself. And honestly, in my personal opinion, this Pandaria wasn't that bad of an expansion. It was actually a really good expansion. We got some really nice raids, really nice armor. We got scenarios and heroic scenarios. Could have gotten more 5-man content. We were really lacking on that. We got a lot of world stuff, though. We got 3 cool world bosses. Actually, 4 now that I remember Malik. We got a legendary quest that sadly, okay, there's a good point and a bad point about this legendary quest. Good point, went through the entire expansion. Bad point, everyone could do it. Everyone. Legendaries used to be legendary. If you wanted Thunder Fury, you'd better hope your guild is good enough to clear Blackwing Lair. Because you need to go through Blackwing Lair to get a miner the ability to smelt dark iron bars. Yeah, you had to do that. Oh my god. So, no flying in Warlords of Draenor. No flying in Warlords of Draenor. Possibly at all, because they were asked, when do you think we will be able to fly? Will it be at patch 6.1? And you guys, don't know yet. We don't know. We don't know, it's still in testing. We're not going to be able to know. We're going to wait for feedback from beta. I will have no doubt that we'll get flying back. No doubt at all. And people are already raging on the forums. Oh, we can't fly. I want a refund for my flying mount. I can't fly. I shouldn't have bought it. You said it yourself. You can now only not fly in Draenor. That's the only place where you can't fly. Use a different mount if you don't like the way that. I think Preach brought it up. It's like, yeah, I get a dragon mount. You can still use your flying mounts, but really, who wants to go around on the ground on a dragon? I don't. Then again, my favorite mounts would have to be my dire horns. I got 3 out of the 4 dire horns from all my farming. Also made a ton of mats. Dude, oh my god, all of the mats that I got from that, I think I got so many herbs, I am set on flasks and potions for the rest of my life. So you can still use the flying mounts, but meh, you can't. You can't fly with them. You may not ever be able to fly with them, but is it that bad? Go into a zone, / who. You won't see anyone on the ground. Everyone will be flying. There will be at least 5 people just flying. You will always see people flying. And it sucks. I mean, if I was running through, I'd love to see other people on the ground. PvP server, you're gonna get fucked. But with the new PvP armor, I think you're okay, especially with the new zone Ashran. It's a lot like the Tolbarad Island. It's a lot like the Tolbarad Island. It really is. It looks kind of cool though. And dude, the Paladin Warrior tier sets. Oh my god, what I would kill for that warrior set to be white. Yeah, white warrior set. Dude, those shoulders though. You have an iron star on your fucking shoulder. It's a saw blade on your fucking shoulder. Paladin's one. Go Paladin Rangers. Seriously, you've had a Power Rangers feeling forever, but they can't outdo the Judgment set. So people are still going to transmog the new tier. Since it's only been 8 minutes on the no flying debate, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with there never being flying. I don't care. I will still walk. I will still use flight points. I still use flight points to some place that I can fly to now, because I can't be asked to, I can just click here and I'll eventually hit it. Fuck that. I'm taking a flight point. I don't care if it, instead of going from A to B, it goes from A to A1 to A2 to A5 to A9 to B. It's not going to be like that next expansion. They said they're going to make it slicker, more streamlined. People are still saying, oh, it's still a time sink. Yes, so is flying to a destination on your own. That's a time sink too, because you're pretty much AFKing to it. And I forgot where I wanted to go with this. Paladin Rangers, Judgment set. Oh, okay. The tier armor, and this is a giant debate, and people are pulling this out of the fucking air. Will LFR no longer drop tier items? Let's think on that for a little bit, okay? Because they said that there's going to be alternate gearing paths. And LFR, because the raids are gated now. The raids are gated, so it's fine. It's fine. I like the fact that the raids are gated a little bit. Hopefully it's permanent, and they don't take them away like they did mid-TBC. Because that's when skipping content became available, and you could buy gear. Not in Wrath like people think. It began at the end of TBC around Sunwell. LFR not having tier items, I'm okay with. Because I'm not going to touch LFR at all. If I get told by anyone, you have to do LFR so you can see this boss and get practice with it, I'll say, nope. Nope, I'm a DPS. I know what I need to do on that boss. Whack at it. Whack at it. I want to see the boss in normal or heroic. Whatever I start out on, I want to see it in the non-watered down version where Fox Fixate, if you stand in front of him, you die. I want to see that version, not the, oh, I stand in front of him, I take 250k damage. I want to see the you die part. I want to see the deadly part. I want to see that you fuck up and you're done. I want to see that. We'll never get back to the fun raids of vanilla, though. Seriously, trolliest boss in vanilla, and you can tell the developers had fun. Nefarian. He'd call out the different classes. Oh, it was perfect. Okay, rogues. You'd get teleported in front of them and burned to death. Healers would, priests would start fucking damaging with their heals. So if they were healing a tank, they were killing him. Shamans would throw down totems randomly. Mages would polymorph people. Hunters, your bow would break. Well, I don't know what they did for Pallies. I really don't. Probably bubbling random people or something. Oh god, back then there wasn't a lot. I think I just named off every class. Warlocks would summon infernals from the sky. That was every class. Druids would do something weird. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You would call out a class. That's not going to happen anymore because people are now sponsored on this game, so they've got to make it serious. So no, it won't ever be fun like vanilla again. It's kind of a good thing, but this is bringing back the kind of vanilla feel. I'm okay with no flying. I'm okay with no tier items dropping from LFR because LFR doesn't need the tier piece bonus. Because this would lead to what happened when Dragon Soul LFR was released. Blizzard can no longer put in OP 4-set bonuses. They did this with the Warriors back during Dragon Soul, where Shield Barrier, 20% of it would be given to the raid as an absorb. So what were the top end guilds doing? Running LFR and fixing it to where they would get the loot and they would give it to their tanks and then they would go through Dragon Soul. I mean, they got a 3-day ban for doing this, but it was still possible, and now all the bonuses are kind of crap. Really crap, and I don't care about LFR. I really don't. LFR needs to be removed. There's no reason why people can't just run a normal raid. They can't just go into Flex or whatever. I don't have the time to commit. Dude, a lot of people don't. That's when you use OQ or Open Raid to find a random group that's just now starting. Well, not really that geared. Dude, Flex. I don't know when I'd be able to be on. Again, Open Raid. And then you get the fucking smartass that's like, I don't want to do a normal raid. And it's your fucking choice, and you don't get the loot that comes from it. Man the fuck up and stop whining like a little whore. No, I don't get my tier piece. Why don't you get your tier piece? Well, I didn't want to do a normal raid. That's your fault. You can't bitch at the game for not giving you something. You're not entitled to anything in this game. It's like the people that say WoW is too easy now. WoW is difficult, but it's kind of hid. It's hidden. Okay, this game is difficult, but you can now choose the difficulty, and there's a curtain. There's a curtain hiding how difficult this game is, because you can get Mr. Newbie von Newberson. Really, he thinks he's the be-all, end-all fucking tanks or something. He's like, I tanked this raid. Okay, I tanked this. Back then, I can do this raid. Okay, you know what to do with this boss? Oh, you need to tell me. I'm an awesome tank. I can solo tank this thing. Okay, well, after you get one hit from the debuff, you just swallow. Okay, when you get stuff under you, move. Okay, I've got DBM. I know when to do that. Hey, dude, tank just died. Why did you die? My health was going down little by little. You were standing in something. No, the healers weren't healing me. Well, you didn't have the boss, so your health wouldn't be going down. Okay. Well, this is corrosive blast on a Mercius. Okay, this is going to hit you pretty hard. You have a cooldown. I've played forever. Guys, I tanked this during current content. I've got this. Dies in one hit. Yeah, that's the awesome kind of tank. You're not entitled to anything. This game is difficult. But now that you can choose difficulty, you can go into LFR, beat Garrosh, and see no point in the game. It's not really an incentive to do normal raids. I mean, some people are kind of like, oh, well, I want to see this boss how it normally is. Oh, Garrosh has an extra phase, you say? Throne of Thunder has an extra boss, you say? Shaw of Fear has an extra phase? I kind of want to do it. Some people are motivated by that, some aren't. And no tier pieces, taking the motivation away from a lot of people because you still get raiders that I'm telling you right now, level 100, if tier pieces are still in there, the only reason why people are saying, oh, they're not going to be in there is because there's only two colors being shown for the armor. Only two colors on the paladin armor, pink, pretty much, pink, purple, and green. Only two colors, unlike the rest of the time where they had three colors. It might just be that normal, heroic, and LFR are one color, and mythic is the other color. That might just be it. But it also might be that, they're taking away the teardrops from LFR, which is fine. It's just next expansion, LFR is going to take another hit. Because right now we're experiencing the Insta-90 washback, okay? Where you've got the Insta-90s there, and they're causing wipes, and you're seeing DPS under 100k on some bosses. Whereas beforehand, you'd see DPS at like 200, 120 minimum. It kind of makes me smile when I can watch somebody kill Nazgrim and the highest DPS is 80k. I'm okay with that. I like that. I like seeing stuff like that. But taking it away from LFR for good, I'd be okay with that because right now and at the beginning you would have normal raiders going in and killing LFR bosses hoping they would drop tier bonuses because LFR always comes out after the actual raid. So you could get, myself, I'm going to use myself for this example. Let's say I'm going and I lose the chest piece that drops from the boss, but I need that chest piece for a 2-piece. Well, LFR still has it. Chest piece, not much of an upgrade, slight upgrade, maybe even a slight downgrade, but that 2-piece bonus is worth it. So I go into LFR and oh look, it drops. Now, if there was no tier piece in LFR, I would never have a motivation to go to it. Now, this isn't actually going to happen. If I'm missing a 2-piece that is really fucking important and the only way I can get it is to do LFR, I'm going to be going without that 2-piece. Well, what if it causes the raid to wipe? What if we can't down the boss because you don't have a 2-piece? It's not going to down the boss then. Simple as that. I will never touch LFR. Never. Since there's a separate gearing path, never touching it. And this separate gearing path also indicates that they're going to start putting more new 5-bans into the game again. Whereas in this Pandaria, we saw death of it, and there were no new 5-bans. Like, some of the heroic only raids became level 88 and 87 or whatever. To where people could, it became a thing to just go from 85 to 90, just dungeon grinding. I hate it when people do that. You don't see anything in the game. Ugh. Disgusting. Disgusting people. Disgusting. Just dungeon grind. I can understand it kind of if you have a refer friend and you've already played the game. You will never beat World of Warcraft unless you have killed the latest boss on heroic content and completed all the challenge modes in gold and completed all the heroic scenarios and completed all the dungeons in their hardest difficulty. And done all the raids in their hardest difficulty. You don't beat World of Warcraft. It beats you. Mostly into an insane asylum or being one of those guys that's like, I used to be addicted to World of Warcraft. Then I stopped. No. You're coming back. You're coming back. At least, I want to say maybe up to 3 million people are returning for this expansion. Some have already returned now. Some will return later. And people are... There was one guy in the forums that made me really sad about this non-flying thing. It's like, why would I play? I suffered. He actually said I suffered having to run around from 85 to 90, and I hated it. I wanted to fly. I will never do that again. I don't want them to do that in Warlords of Draenor. He started in Kata, and he dungeon grinded his way to level 60. It was fucking terrible. Okay, if you're going to bitch about running around for 5 levels, 5 really simple levels, and you're complaining about running around, you're stupid. You're one of the stupidest people I've ever met, and World of Warcraft is better without your kind. Better without your kind. Walk away, please. We will all love the fact that you do walk away. It's fine. So, no tier pieces, I'm okay with. No flying, I'm okay with. It's done. It's done. They'll implement flying later on because they are giving in to community feedback, and I'm still waiting to see what they do with Berserker Stance for Warriors because I want that to come back.